Hey everyone, hope they're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these topics and sectors looking for potential investment opportunities. We do have a code, a discount code. It's called discount if you'd like to use the discount code, and the savings are in the description link below. All right, so let's dive in here. Let's take a look, starting with the DXY. And to me, this still looks good to potentially be a consolidation pattern here where we could eventually break higher or lower. But since it is facing downward, it's probably going to break higher. We are also right at support. The support going across here is this guy here. We do have some slowing down coming up into that support region. So we're kind of at a decision point what we want to do here. This to me still looks like it's poised to go higher though with the downward facing falling wedge. The 2-year yield, so yields are generally what drive the dollar up. The 2-year yield, we are up today, but we are in a downtrend. So that downtrend is still intact, and the 2-year still looks a little bit weak here in the short term. The 10 years up about 1% today, and that's a bullish engulfing. So that does look like it wants to go higher. So the short end of the curve, we're pulling back a little bit, but on the long end, we are going higher. There are things that can drive this that might be out of the control of the government. So even though the government and or Federal Reserve, even though they're not a government entity, uh, they can manipulate the short end of the curve, but the long end is going to do what it wants to do. And this to me looks like it wants to go higher based off that big bullish engulf. And we've got one here and here. And they may get in there and try to manipulate this lower by actually buying bonds and doing stuff. The 30-year also looks stronger today. It was up 1%. We've come on back here, and then we slowed down here, and then we might make our way on up. Bigger picture view, we're in a pattern, and this still looks good on a monthly perspective to go higher. I know people think that rates are going to drop, but that's not what I see. What I base this off of is you get these impulse moves higher, then you get a pullback, then you get a smaller pullback, and then you get a smaller pullback. And then they break out of that consolidation. One of the drivers that can do this is the price of oil and obviously inflation. The combination of those two things. TYX TNX ratio, we are moving sideways today, up 0.23%, so just slightly higher, but we haven't broken through this, and it could be a potential double bottom. When this moves higher, that's when precious metals do very well, and we were up today. So we were slightly higher on the dollar, a little bit higher yields, but we were up a little bit on this here, which is a tailwind behind gold. TLT bond prices pulling back a little bit. Here we are between support resistance of those areas. And the support resistance line, so you've got resistance ahead of us going across and resistance going across this way. Now, this is a difficult spot because I don't know which direction we're going to go here. If yields go up, that means bond prices are going to go down. I think the government wants to push these, push bond prices higher and yields lower to refinance. That's what the government wants, to refinance the debt. But are they going to get what they want is the question. It's stuck between resistance and support here. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks of where this eventually ends up. The 2 and 10, we did get a little bit of yield curve uninversion. So we're inverted and it's uninverting. This is generally good for gold specifically, and sometimes the whole precious metals complex. So gold's up $21 an ounce. We've got kind of a weird setup here. Lots of selling pressure these days here. That's generally seen when we're going to go sideways and consolidate or go lower. We were up today, but it wasn't a huge convincing day. We didn't have a very strong closing. There was some selling pressure that occurred towards the end of the day. Not a huge selling pressure move. It wasn't real fast or sharp, but and it still looks good. You know, the momentum is still to the upside here. So this one, we'll see what occurs. That's all I'll say. We'll see what occurs. A lot of it's going to be driven by yield curve, the direction of interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. Silver up 2.5%. This is a big bullish engulfing. This looks really bullish to go higher. We did get some selling pressure towards the end of the day, though. Nice little kind of shoulder, head, shoulder going on in the short term. We've pulled on back. So the momentum is still to the downside in the very short term. In a slightly longer term, it's bullish because we've got a bullish engulfing here on this daily. And we've broken out of this, but we may come back and do a retest before heading higher. Platinum up about $15 an ounce. Got this downtrend that we're trying to break. We didn't close above it, but it still looks really good, and we're still squeezing between support down here and the trend line that we've got going on in the short term. Palladium up 1.96, just chopping sideways. We did get some selling pressure towards the end of the day. So there's selling pressure up here, and then there's buying pressure here. We're sandwiched between buyers and sellers at this moment. GDX up 3%. Didn't really finish strong. Pretty small candlestick, which means we gapped up in the morning and then closed roughly where we opened. GDXJ, very similar, and then SILJ getting these wicks at the top. What that means is that there was selling pressure towards the end of the day of these. There's the selling pressure, and there's your gap pre-market, and then your open. Your open and your close are very close to each other. And then what you'll get is a slight green candlestick there. But you'll get a wick at the top there. That's what that wick indicates, is the trading throughout the day and then the reversal. Your closings here and your openings there. You get the small little wick. We did break the downtrend here. You know, this downtrend line there. Now, this steep short-term downtrend lines like this, they don't hold a lot of weight. So don't be all gung-ho like we've broken that downtrend. The big boy downtrend is this guy here. That's the big boy breakout. Then you're going to fling all around here. And then the other big boy breakout's the blue line that's ahead of us, which I think will break. And that's this guy here. We want to break out of this. That's the big move we want. XAU to gold ratio, we did see outperformance for gold and silver mining companies versus gold itself. We are still at an incredibly low point, and no one gives a flying rat's butt down here. So that's generally a really good entry point. So we've broken the downtrend there. Everything looks good, and we're at a really low spot. So it looks fantastic to me. And gold's in an uptrend. Gold is in an uptrend. Crude oil up about 1.4%. We're right at support down here. We did get an update today. A little bit of selling pressure towards the end of the day. That's what that wick is at the top there. Pulling on back. Did we break the uptrend line here? Depends where you draw this thing, but it's going to be something on the lines of this. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. These shorter term price movements, I don't hold too much weight to them. It's the bigger ones that I'm looking at. And the big picture here, we came into this, we're consolidating sideways. We're in potentially what I consider to be that dead period. We do have a big bullish engulfing there with small selling pressure into another bullish engulfing potential week if we close the week strong. If we close the week strong and it's another big bullish engulfing here, we very well could break out of this consolidation. And that's going to be in the face of everyone telling me that this is going to go down to $30 a barrel. And it's possible. That's just not what I'm seeing yet in the way that it's trading. TTF gas, we are down a little bit today, down 3.16. We're getting a little bit of selling pressure. That selling pressure started here at the bearish engulfing. We came up, kind of did like a little double top, and we could see some further downside selling in the short term. Natural gas in America up 3.38. It did reverse throughout the day, so we gapped up here, but sold off to here and closed. That's why it's a red candlestick. So we lost momentum throughout the day, where it gapped up in the morning and then sold off throughout the day. Just to show you guys what that looks like. We are above longer term support, and then in the longer term, this still looks good to go higher. Boy, XOP, yeah, you know me, up 1%, and we are above this breakout. Breakout here, retest here. That generally works its way on up. We want to see buying pressure here. We want to see buying pressure here. OIH up 0.72. This one still has a little bit more downside momentum. This is the OPEC cut extending out in the future, these past couple of trading sessions where it dove down. But this is a bigger picture. This is bullish. Double bottom, coming up, hitting your head on resistance. Came on back. We'll see where this goes. Newcastle coal futures up 0.64. I know some people are saying that this is bearish because they draw a trend line through here. They go, it broke to the downside. Well, a lot of the times you see a false breakdown where these come down and then slingshot higher. It scares everyone because it's broken down. People then put their shorts on and then they get squeezed later on. We'll see if that's the case. For the most part, though, it doesn't scare me at all because even if we pull back here and even if we were to consolidate a little bit more, it's just going to be a consolidation still. Crown Physical Uranium Trust down 3.5%. This could be getting impacted by the NASDAQ and some of the overall markets. I did see they were down as well. And sometimes uranium links up to the NASDAQ. They see it as like technology for some reason. But we're still in the big rising or this big flag pattern that we've got going on. So that's still valid. And then uranium futures pricing down a little bit, down about 1%. We're still consolidating. We've got URA down about 4.4. Now we're breaking through the support uptrend line. And this is a pretty big selling pressure day. So this does look like we could see further downside pressure in URA. URNM also getting some pretty big selling pressure here on a big bearish engulfing. We could see further downside. We do have some support here at about $44-ish. And URNJ also down 4%. The whole sector's doing it. We've got support here at 21.25. Copper up 1.5%. That's looking pretty good. It's got that stair step pattern going on with the big green days and then the small down selling pressure. That still looks good to go higher. COPX also liking the move up 3.9% or so. Iron ore up a little bit. That looks real good. Nice big green candlestick the last trading session before us. And this still looks really good from a longer term perspective. And this is a fractal I grabbed from another one during one of our trading sessions. That looks good to potentially go higher with time. Aluminum down a little bit right at that stupid support resistance line. A little bit of resistance. You can see we're just right up on it. It's going to break at some point and run to the upside. And just to give you a perspective, it's this line right here. You can see this is bullish because you've got these small little selling pressure, and it's usually in a downward facing pattern. Nickel up a little bit. That still looks like it's trying to put in that bottom. This bottom on the right-hand side here. We've got Mu up 1.1%, looking a little bit better. It was really good in the morning. It was way up, but came back a little bit towards the end of the day. We're still above support. Everything looks good. Emerging markets up 2%. This is looking good. We gapped up against this resistance line here. We've got KRE down 1.6%, probably from rates and the dollar. Anything that's kind of rate dollar sensitive, sometimes these guys go a little bit crazy. But that's down a little bit. Uptrend still upward. We're getting a downward pullback consolidation. TAN up 4%, looking pretty good. Lithium up 3.76%. That's looking like it's trying to break out of this downward trend line. We squeezed up here. We're trying to break out of it. That looks good. It's trying to. REMX also up 3.3%. right on. We've already broken the downtrend and we're right up against some resistance here. Baltic Dry Index up 0.6%, and that's been it's in a downtrend right now. That could still continue further. XHB up 0.74%. I know a lot of people are like, well, the data, we've got new home builds that are at average inventory levels. It's like, well, depends on interest rates, guys. If rates come back, they're going to sell homes and they can do stuff like buy down rates. Now, if we do have a slowdown, this will go down. Like if we will get a slowdown, if it comes, this will go down. And then we should see construction unemployment go up. Haven't seen that yet, so it's still hanging on at this time. Russell 2000's down, and that looks like we could extend further. We've got a bearish engulfing today and the day before. It looks like it wants to head a little bit lower. The S&P 500 getting some selling pressure there, probably from interest rates, and then the NASDAQ getting some selling pressure up there too. SMCI, big reversal, could be a reversal candlestick here. Where we could head lower. That is, it gapped up in the morning and then sold off hard. Somebody was offloading a bunch of shares throughout the day. NVIDIA down 2.55%. This could get interesting. We'll see what happens. Stronger selling pressure. And then we came back up and did a retest, and this could sell off. We'll see what occurs with the follow through. Bitcoin down 3%. We are back to this support level. We did see some pretty strong selling pressure here, though. Are we going to hold or are we going to pull on back? We'll see tomorrow. And then Ethereum down 7%, stronger selling pressure. We're still above all of the support, though. So still looks okay until we start to get some momentum. But this is a pretty big selling pressure candlestick, 7% in a day, which could be reversing this. So big green, small red, big red, small green. And then we could roll over. We'll see what that looks like. MSTR down 7.5%. This looks like crap, guys. Like huge selling pressure, reversal candlestick. Down, down, down. Another reversal candlestick. Now getting some strong selling pressure. This is looking a little bit heavy. We could work our way lower here, and this could be the ultimate top here, potentially. But we'll see. Again, we'll see what this looks like. It could also be a, well, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but yeah, we're breaking down there. It looks weak to me. It looks very weak. And then the VIX up 11%. This could very well work its way on up. We'll have to wait and see. And again, playing the short term, this is still on top of everything. This still very well could go higher. We could see a big pullback in the S&P and the NASDAQ. Now, some people disagree with what I just said there, but we'll let the markets do the talking and we'll see what happens. But that's what I've got for today. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. Discount is the coupon code right now. It's not as big as the one that was the Black Friday special, but you can see it in the description link below. I will be running further discounts out in the future at random times. If you guys want to know where there'll be windows of opportunities, we'll probably do a Christmas special here coming up soon. That will run for maybe a week or two coming on up. So, but that's what I've got for today, guys. And we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.